Welcome, hello, Yasu, hi, it's me again, Tai, and today we get into a little fresh up because I did in the morning already. I have a video for you now about entities and demon and how you invoke them or how you banish them if you don't even know a name. It is a little fresh up because I did do in the morning already. So to my next chapter I did extend on my channel. It's XulluX Deutsch. So to those who are native German speakers or maybe just German speakers and want to follow up my videos in German, in future you got the chance there to check for my videos in German. I mean, I'm a native speaking German, so why not doing both? Of course I will continue here as well. So to those who don't know me yet, I will introduce a little. My name is Tai Kölner and I'm a black magician. I'm a follower of the draconian path. So I'm a practitioner of the left-hand path. In this regard, I'm a student of the left-hand order Dragon Rouge. While I'm a student, not a representative, so everything I'm talking here about is my personal perceptions and practice. And if you got any questions about the order, feel free to check there. I'm not a representative. So to dig into today's topic, it's about the demon and the entities you're sometimes facing, but you don't even know a name. In my case, this is a long tradition because before I even did start on using grimoires or rituals or whatsoever, I was in contact to entities. So, and I had no practice on how to call them, how to ritualize them, and grimoires were not my cup of tea. I started on consciously ritual work when it was around the end of 2016. And all the years before, I was like a whale, swallowing an energy I did find. So it was part of my energy structure for a while, and we did work together, and by time it left. So I never knew a name back then. The problem on this is if you got somebody who is a little sticky, you know, who doesn't want to leave you by time and who just feels all to home with you, you now and then have to show him the way out, or how to disgrace his chosen home so you get your own free space again. And this is not easy if you don't know a name. Well, it is easy if you don't search for a name but take the energy. And this is what I will talk about today. In this case, you get into the energy frequency of this entity. And this is more easy than it sounds, because sound, for example, music, is already a frequency. Even if you're eating something or some behavior patterns create a certain frequency. So you just have to find out what the other one does not like in his life. I sometimes describe it like a hotel. If you are somebody who is invoking something, or if you are occupied by an entity, it is your body is like an hotel. And there is one room, and this one room is to this one entity. So no, some guests are not very careful with their rooms, let's say. So they try to piss the walls to light some fire and whatever. So, and if they start to get stressy on you, how to find the way out of the hotel. So you try to find out what he doesn't like. You change your nutrition. So maybe it does not like rucola. Maybe it does not like whatever, apple cider or whatsoever. And you try to change your nutrition and see how the entity is reacting on this. You also can try on music. This is something what is working on entities which are part of your energy body, as well as on, let's say, energetic influences like telepathic spy and such a things. You can just pick a music and check how the outer reaction is onto this. This being said, okay, obviously I like metal. But also I'm a very widespread music listener. So I can also listen to hip hop, to techno, to ambient, to whatever the heck. There is just one thing I don't like, and this is folk music. However, if I find out that an entity or an impact from outside is no big fan of folk music, I would listen to this folk music for hours and weeks, and if it needs to, 3 months in a row. Because all this impact, all this repeating of this frequency this one doesn't like, will make him leave. You can do it on everything, so about eating, nutrition, colors, behavior patterns, whatsoever, and it is just about your consequence, about your will to do so. It doesn't matter if the other one is a stronger part. It just depends on who is the more resilient one, who is the more stubborn one on this. And in the end, it's your shell. So if the guest is getting sticky, or if the guest is not willing to leave by whatever reason, you make his home uncomfortable. This is how you can banish out a guest who is not welcome. So there is another point, how to call entities if you don't even know their name. This is something what people mostly not do, because most of practitioners got a name, got a ritual, do their stuff according to grimoires or ritual practice, but there are more entities than this book can unveil. There are some classics like Belial, Astaroth, Lilith, Lucifer, Samael, and whatsoever. You can call forth them according to the ritual books you got. But there are also entities which did not get a name by human, or which got forgotten by human. And also, if you see for the left-hand path practitioners, it is about unveiling your own divine state. So to become a god, or however you want to claim this. And in this way, you develop a kind of consciousness, what is a higher realm of perceptions, of skills, and so on. And so one could say it's a god. However, I'm writing on a book. Wait on that. The point is that we do not know every higher entity which is surrounding us. And it is not claimed by name. So it is very possible that you're working with entities, or that you may work with entities which we cannot claim by names. Also, it can happen that you pass a threshold somewhere and you find an entity which is from another realm very different to ours. And of course, they got no lips, they got no tongue, they got no throat. So how should they express their personality in a word which we can form with our tongue, our throat, etc.? So some of these entities are, if you ask for a name, they will answer in a frequency. So in this moment you use a melody, you use an energy frequency, you echo, you use a color, you use a scent, and this is how you call these entities. Banishing is not that problem. Calling forth is not that problem. I would even step further a little bit. I do not banish. I do not need to banish. Some magicians do. They do banish after every ritual. But this is an inner moral question. If I invite a guest, I'm not casting them out after dinner. I want to work with them. And as long as I feel comfortable working with them, they are welcome in my home. So why should I banish a guest right after rituals? On the other side, if you're doing rituals or portal openings in your private ritual space, no matter if it is outside or inside a home, you always should be conscious that there is a mirror remaining in your energy matrix, so it has an impact on your daily life. You also can do a ritual in daily time. I sometimes tell this story because I really think it's hilarious, and it is very explaining about how energy can work. I once was on my way to work with a train, and I was a little bored out. And so I started a little ritual, and you don't need a candle and all this stuff. It's about focus. And I was sitting there in the train, and I was like, sasas, sasas, nasatanada, sasas. And yeah, when I came back from work, I suddenly did decide, hey, let's I did suddenly decide, hey, let's take the bus home. I'm not interested taking the train, let's take the bus home. And while I was sitting in the bus, I did get to know that the train was blocked by a tree, and that there was no way to drive home with the train. So now one could discuss about if this was my further impacting on the energy streams when I was driving to work or not. But however, these are things you know. One thing, it is everything you do has an impact on the energy around you, also on the entities you're working with. And on the other side, you develop a skill of perception. So simply said, if you walk down a road and you got a choice, do I pick the road on the left or do I pick the road on the right side? And you decide, hey, I pick the road on the right side because I don't feel to take the left one. And when you pick the road on the right side, you suddenly face, oh, there was a building space and the street was blocked anyway, and I haven't even made it to walk there. And you don't know these things before, but somehow you do. And this is a telling I did manifest in my pattern as well. There is nothing happening by accident. If something appears like an accident, it just means you did not know how it came into being. But you never got anything like an accident. It is always a cause of something happening. And one of the skills you will develop while you are working on your energy pattern is to just know things, what are happening. So this about banishing or calling forth of entities or demon, it is not necessary to know their names. It is necessary to know their pleasures, and it is necessary to know what they don't like and what they can't stand. And if you know this, you can pretty much do everything. You can call forth them, you can banish them. So yes, this is basically it. So you don't need a name to call forth or to banish something from your temple or from yourself. It all depends on energy, again. So I wish you a wonderful one, and see you next time. Make sure to subscribe the channel to stay updated for the next video.